Burn. That's some. Grace and over. Yeah, awesome.
We will call to order the Wednesday, September 3rd, City of Solon regular council meeting. That will start with the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Duncan is absent tonight. Farlinger here. Gabriel here. Kramer here. Whitehead is also absent tonight. Takes us to our civility pledge. We pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, and acknowledging that we're all striving to support and improve our community. We'll look to perfect and improve the agenda. Cammy, any known changes to the
No
agenda?
changes, we're good.
I'll move to perfect and approve the agenda.
Second.
Farlinger,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
That takes us to citizen speak. This is time for anybody that would like to speak on any non-agenda items this evening. Is there anybody tonight?
Are we going to be able to speak when you have the option enter period with the sign?
Yeah, we can, I can. Yep. Anybody else? All right, that takes us to consent agenda. This is the approval of minutes from the August 20th, 2025 regular meeting, approval of the list of bills, treasury report transfers and building permits.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda. Second.
Farling,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yeah.
Kramer.
Yes.
Next, fire department report. No update since the last, update that I gave on that. We know July was super busy. We have agency meeting coming up, but I'll have an update after that. Sheriff's office report. I don't have anything this business.
Thank you, guys.
It's item 10, public works director report. Kim?
Yeah, I'll run through my list and then we have all our superintendents here this evening. After the last meeting, Dave Richards has initiated the meter program with Viking to help place that antenna that needs to go on the tower. So all that's in motion. Just had all the generators inspected and also sent over the new contract for next year. The gator was repaired, but got it back and it wasn't truly repaired. So it's back in the shop. And so that's kind of impacted the ability to water the flowers. So we're going to start transitioning out some of the flowers that aren't looking so great. The brush pile got mulched behind the shop. So we got compost. Also had the opportunity to purchase some barricades from the UI surplus. Had those powder coated and painted, and 50 of them, right? And if you notice at Beef Days rented several of those, and they looked really nice. And so have the ability now to use those for special events such as Beef Days, the upcoming event that the Legion's having, and of course any kind of street closures. So good to have those. Got a great deal on those. Last day of the splash pad was Labor Day. So summer's over officially. New employees are off to a great start with training, getting into the weekend rotation and learning the way around the wastewater treatment plant, also working on their CDL permits. We have some leadership training happening this week, and then several public works staff are going to be at other trainings this month. That's all I have. You want to add anything?
No, you got it.
Thank you.
Excellent. Library report, Liz.
Welcome to September and Library Month. So anybody who comes in and either renews their card or signs up for the first time for a library card, you'll be entered in a drawing for a chance to win an amazing prize, which includes gift cards to Bluebird, Good Vibes, and Zoetic. So stop by and see us. We'll be happy to renew your card or get you set up with one. There is a Johnson County Housing Information Session. We're not hosting it, but it is at the library. They're hosting 2 sessions to talk about affordable housing in rural areas. And so it will be at 1:30 on Wednesday, September 10th at the library. And just to let everybody know, if you have questions or want to learn about that, they had asked that we share it as much as we can. So that will be happening at the library, again, hosted by Johnson County. And then we have been selected by the American Library Project Research Team for a visit. They are traveling across the country to investigate the changing roles of public libraries, and they chose Solon Public Library to come and visit. So they're going to be here on September 17th and 18th. They'll get to see coffee and conversations and chair yoga, and then also early out on a Thursday afternoon. So they should get a good flavor of how we serve our community, and we're looking forward to that.
Thanks, Liz. To the rec director report, Brody.
Haven't been here in a little while. I just want to say thank you guys for bringing Ethan on full time. It's been really helpful this fall season because we got a lot of stuff going on. I hired 2 new high schoolers. So if you guys know them or see them around, congratulate them. Kylan McDonald and Garrett Limecooler, seniors in town. A little breakdown of our spring, summer programs. Spring soccer, everything kind of stayed the same. Our numbers in soccer stay pretty constant. Same with T-ball. Baseball and softball, they did drop a little bit. There's a lot more club baseball and softball in town now, so we kind of figured that was going to happen. This summer, we're going to look to run a baseball tournament down there, Ethan and I, and hopefully combat some of that lost revenue. We ran tennis camp, and we had someone run nature camp for us this year. Numbers stayed about the same for that, and that was this summer. Right now, we got flag football, volleyball, and fall soccer going on. Flag football, we did take a little bit of a hit in numbers. Same with volleyball. Club softball kind of dipped into it, and red zone flag football, club football, and then kind of doing that too. But fall soccer stayed pretty constant, as it always does, just because there's no club sport competing against that. We did add a few new programs this summer, and they are girls flag football. We ran that with Tiffin, Coralville, and North Liberty. We had a couple teams from town here, and we had 15 girls participate in that. All the games were in Tiffin. It was a totally new program. It was NFL flag, so they all got NFL jerseys, and I think they played all through July, and it was pretty well received. We ran a pickleball camp. I didn't run it. We had someone in town run it for us, but we had 28 participants in that from, I think, 3rd grade up to adults. So that was got quite a few people in that. And then one of the high school soccer coaches ran a soccer camp for us, and he had 55 participants in that this summer. So that was a pretty big one. Some of our upcoming activities that we have going on here with the library, we're going to start Fun for All Nights here in November, and we're going to do 6 months of that this year, all in the gym at the community center, November to April. I applied for a grant last year, and we received a free outdoor water bottle / drinking fountain station to put at the SRNA. These guys are going to help me install that at some point here, but it's got the dog station on the bottom, and it's got the drinking fountain and the water bottle, so it should be really nice. Down there, if you guys haven't been down to the SRNA, I guess we have 2 new sand volleyball courts down there, partially donated by the Beef Days Committee. We had 8 adult volleyball teams this summer. That's the most we've ever had since I've been here. It filled up in about a month, I think, when I opened up registration for that. My team played in it. It was really fun. Met a lot of new people in town. The old sand volleyball court is going to transition into a playground, if you guys aren't aware of that. And we did get all the equipment ordered. I think we're going to call it the SRNA Sandbox. And it's some different organizations in town, Lions Club, Women's Club, and I think a person for a memorial for someone they donated. So we're gonna have a sign, and it's gonna say everyone that donated and all that. So that should be here. All that stuff should be here next week. And then again, these guys can help me with the installation of that. We're working with Solon Senior Support to offer some senior activities in town. We talked with Jill Wheatman, who runs that, and we've kind of got some ideas going. We sent out a survey, so we're going to see what people are interested in, and then we can offer some more activities for another range of folks in town here. We're offering tumbling and cheerleading again. It's going to be at the old fire station. We have a different instructor this year. We have a high schooler from Solon here, so Yeah, it should be nice for her to make a little money and show what Solon's all about with cheerleading. The new gym floor down at the community center, very nice. If you guys are ever down there, check it out. The floor was like an ice rink before, and now you can actually run around and you can hear the shoes squeaking when people are playing basketball and volleyball. So that's nice. We are gonna open up first and second grade basketball, third through sixth grade girls basketball here at the end of the week. Those are our late fall programs, as well as our inclusive rec. We're gonna try inclusive track and field here in the late fall. We offered a couple last fall and last winter. We did basketball and flag football, and it's anyone can sign up, but it's mainly for any kids that have any sort of developmental issues or just need some extra help in activities. And myself and our staff run that with some volunteers from town usually, and it's pretty fun. Last thing, trunk or treat. This year it's gonna be October 26th down at the SRNA. I just sent out an email yesterday about it. We're gonna have trunks, bouncy house zone, food trucks, and the craft area again this year. Like I said, I sent out information yesterday. We have, I think, 6 trunks from different organizations in town, and I think we have about $1,000 in sponsorships to help support the kids zone bouncy house area. So already got a lot of interest in that. So that's kind of what's happening with Parks and Rec right now. So
A lot going on. Thank
yeah,
you.
well, I don't know. I don't come here a lot, so I got to give you kind of everything.
Thanks for all that you do. Next we have item 13, city engineer report, Dave.
Yeah, the staff of Public Works and I went out with Randy and Adam on Trail Ridge. And we're able to get both of those phases reviewed. They were able to get punch list items cleaned up in less than a week, so jumped on that and did a pretty good job. And the guys got to go through a detailed punch list preparation and learn about that. So that was good. Wastewater plant, we're finishing up or cleaning up a couple of exhibits. We'll send that report off to DNR. And as we reported last time, the guys will be going to West Tech with us in September to look at equipment. City property survey back here, you may have noticed some V&K trucks and surveyors going around. We're looking for property pins, utilities, documenting everything, putting together some surveys so that anybody that would be interested in presenting a proposal on doing something with those properties in the future has a good idea of what's all there, understands the boundaries of the property and everything. And if we go to sell it, it's got a clean survey to it. So the guys have been working on that. And then the last thing I have is North Market Square. We had some conversation with DOT about a permit, Highway 1, so that they can continue work on that project over there. I think they can believe that was all cleared with Michelle from our last conversation. So hopefully should see some activity starting on that before too long.
They basically need to shift the lane over a little bit.
Is this at Maine? Okay.
And it's already narrow there,
Yeah.
so Dave and I have had in-depth conversations with DOT on investment of that, so.
That'll close North Street on either side in order for them to be able to shift the traffic from Highway Line over so they can dig down and do the utility work at that corner. But we just can't have traffic coming from this side and we have the lanes shifted. It'll be pretty narrow, but that was what's happening there. So traffic will be blocked on North Street during that period.
For the times that they have it narrowed,
Not overnight, just
yeah, not overnight, just weather working, yeah.
Thanks, Dave. Kevin, any updates? All right, takes us down to new business, item 15, the site plan, Solon School, Lakeview Elementary East parking lot. Tammy or Dave?
We'll start with, so planning and zoning reviewed this at their last meeting. This is the east parking lot, in front of Lakeview. We have Lacey Lamp on a Zoom here representing third grade, engineers for the project. So this has been in discussion for a while. As you know, back in April, we applied for the TEEP grant to get that 150 hours of DOT, sponsored engineering. So we've been actually looking at this east parking lot for a while. East side parking lot for a while now, just to kind of get an idea of what the school's intentions were. what their ultimate plan is and how does it fit into the bigger picture. Planning and zoning, looked at it, and I guess their only real question was, you know, what's the plan for all the summer activities? Because the plan is for this to start next summer of 26, and how are they gonna handle all the traffic and activities that happen during the summer at the school? And those are gonna be shifted to the west side of the school, so I think all the parking will be shifted to the west side next summer. And then from that, I guess I'll turn it over to Dave.
Yeah, the comments on this were pretty minimal. They did have some lighting as we requested the site plan review. And then there were a few things that we looked at with respect to drainage. So they replaced the mulch in that center island that's a bioswale. We were concerned that was water would float the mulch out, so they replaced that with a netting. And then they did add a couple of rows of sod on the end of the parking lot on the east side. We were concerned that if we had heavy rain and the water was directed out that way, they didn't want to put curb there because that's what they want to push their snow. To get that established, we just asked if they do something to stabilize that better. So they've done that as well. And then I think the rest of it was mainly with respect to trying to figure out the timing of this, and they indicated summer. So really shouldn't impact anything from the fitness standpoint. It's been coordinated with the deep study, as Cammie said. We don't feel that there's anything at that intersection that would work well with respect to where they're proposing their improvements, and there shouldn't be a driveway coming off of 382 into the parking lot based on our discussions. So we kind of eliminated that option. So what they're doing here really doesn't impact that part of it too much. So went pretty quickly. Lacey, I don't know if you have anything to add, but I think pretty compact. All the construction will be within an existing parking lot. The staging area will be within the existing parking lot, and really should have a pretty controlled work site when I do the work.
Any questions from council?
So it's not the entire parking lot, correct? It's just it's like the second driveway and third driveway closest to the building. That's the way I'm reading this.
Right,
Okay.
the drop off lane.
Yeah.
There's a center island. And
Yeah.
You got a little bit of parking behind
Okay,
that.
okay, gotcha.
But the rest of the parking that's paved will be their staging area.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Tim, I don't know if you're here as a resident or from the city, but didn't know if there's anything. Or correct.
Just here to listen.
All right. Any other questions from council? Do we have a motion for the site plan?
Is to approve the site plan for Lake Elementary.
Second.
Harlan,
Yes.
Gabriel?
Yeah.
Kramer?
Yes.
Takes us to item 16, resolution 2535, Trail Ridge Estates subdivision, part 3A, final plat. The Cammie or Dave?
Yeah, this is a resolution for Trail Ridge Estate subdivision part 3A. As we go through what I'm gonna share is gonna apply also to the next agenda item in 3B. There are, the resolutions are basically identical. The inspection that Dave shared that was conducted with Public Works involved both 3A and 3B. Kevin has reviewed and approved all of the subdividers documents that were submitted. And I have received all of the maintenance bonds for the development and the as-bills. To date, we don't have any outstanding punch list items on either. We
That's
haven't-
correct. The only thing that is outstanding is that they didn't have the equipment in yet for the basketball court or the pickleball court. And there's an escrow that they have posted for that, so that should satisfy the requirement for that. Everything else has been completed. I believe there were some signs that were going to be put up. Last, I thought, those get, I'm still waiting on the signs, so that's been arranged with the city. When those signs come in, they'll be installed.
Was that A or B
Both, yes.
for the equipment?
Oh, for the equipment, just part A.
Okay, that's right.
Yes,
Okay.
for the escrow. There are agreements in place for the light poles and the utilities. They have provided those, so the gas, the electric and the light poles are all under contract. We're just waiting for the utilities to get those put in, but they did provide those contracts. And we've allowed that in the past as well.
Any questions from council on that? Anything, Adam or Randy, that you guys?
When it comes in and we get it funded, we'll have to coordinate a ribbon cutting or something out there. Playground equipment, it'll be pickleball, basketball, so we're trying to get that. And we anticipate next week, the county RC starting their work out there in Minneapolis, follow shortly.
With that, do we have a motion for resolution 2535?
I'll move to approve resolution 2535.
Second.
All right, Harlan,
Yes.
Gabriel, Kramer.
Yes.
Takes us to item 17, resolution 2536, Trail Ridge Estate subdivision, part 3B, final plat. Cameron Day, think that.
Basically the same report.
I'll move to approve resolution 2536. Second.
Harlan,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
Takes us to item 18, resolution 2537, the Washington County Riverboat Foundation grant application. Kim?
Yeah, this is an application that, we had some extra help around here this summer, so we really focused on some economic development, grants, and one of them was the Washington County Riverboat Foundation application, and this is the city of Solon is the applicant, and this is for, some wayfinding signage around the community and also some information kiosk signage at the SRNA. We hope that this is a successful grant. The application is due September 15th. We've applied for other grants. This particular grant requires a resolution to be approved by the city council for the application to be submitted.
That sounds, I mean, having the wayfinding signs has been, as we've talked to numerous people in the community, that's been one of the things that have retail businesses in the area that have said when they have bikers that come in, a lot of times they don't know where to look for stuff. So I think would this be good if we get a little help with some of these wayfinding signs. Very welcome addition. I hope we get it. Anything? I move to approve resolution 2537.
Second.
Harlan,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yeah.
Kramer.
Yes.
Kim, thank you for putting that together. That takes us to item 19, the McBride Point subdivision, information. Kim?
So, it's been a little while, since, Kyle Skogman was here, making his initial request for the city council to consider providing water to McBride Point subdivision. There was, a request by the council to, there's just a lot of questions associated with that, and we know there are more questions, but our focus here as staff was to kind of provide that base information to not only the council, but the community. And so myself, Dave Scheckinger, Kyle Skogman, and his representatives put together this Q&A. We shared it, of course, with the council and on the city website. And this is designed again to provide some basic information. Dave and I have been in conversations, obviously, for some months and kind of have a better understanding of some of this information. And so what we're asking tonight is to for feedback. Are there additional questions the council has? Are there additional questions that the community has? What we don't know is that there is a next level of research that needs to be done. And that has to come with direction from the city council. That's going to be a time and expense for Dave and his team at B&K to do that research. So what we're asking for tonight is if you want any clarifications on any of the Q&A, and are there any additional questions that you may have that we can be working on, so that we can get to a point that we can bring the application back to the council And at that point, the council could either accept or not accept the application. Accept and approval are two different things. Accepting the application means you're gonna direct Dave to do that at next level of research on our current and future water capacity and storage. And that is something that council will need to, provide direction to do. That research would take a few months for Dave and his team to do that research. And then council would have that additional information before they made a formal decision on this. So this is, again, an early step in the process, trying to get that basic information to the council and the community and find out what additional information the council may want or need before we present the application for acceptance.
Thank you for putting that together for us to review. There's a couple questions that I have. One of them, I think you just answered on that, but my question and concern is kind of if there were a connection, how does that impact our storage and our supply in the future? It sounds like we need to do more additional research on that, and that we would need to get that direction to do additional research to get those answers. The other question that I would have is when we do the flushing, I know that we talked about the flushing, that all the water is coming out of the same aquifer. Do we know roughly how many gallons we go through anytime we flush the line? Like how many gallons are just put out on the street or sidewalk when we flush the hydrants?
Citywide?
It depends on
Oh.
the usage, don't it? If they
Out
don't,
at like how that
Gallons.
gallon.
just gallon,
Yeah, so we can calculate that. Essentially, we're exchanging the contents of the main, so that would be, I think the calculation would provide. But it's different than when they first started in because now Trail Ridge is hooked in and taking a good segment of that over. So I'd have to run the numbers.
Okay. That would be one thing, just because I want to make sure if we're getting the best usage out of our water, as well as if there's,
If it's not having to be flushed because we're using it.
if they're using enough, they don't flush it, right?
and is there
That's
water
what I thought,
savings
yeah.
and things like that. So that'd be one question I have once we get there. But I don't know if there's other questions or comments that we have from council. And then Tony will get to you once we finish our comments.
I just wanted to
Sure,
say,
once-
interested, the study done 8 years ago.
Yeah, Tony,
Here.
Tony.
we haven't.
I'll get you after we finish comments.
A lot of my main questions were answered by the Q and A portion. I just wanted to confirm, were we from the same reservoir? Would connecting them in any way put additional stress on the reservoir? And it doesn't seem like that would be the case in this instance. I would also like the figures on the flushing. I would rather go to good use and provide some revenue for the city rather than just the pipe and get flushed away. And then I think most of my first concerns regarding costs have already been addressed. So that's kind of where I sit at the moment, which is just little additional information on how much water sits in the pipes currently.
John, anything that you have?
No, I think the question here kind of answered a lot of the questions I had about kind of the same things Cole said, is where's the water coming from and the amount of waste that we could resolve versus having residents that are not within city limits, but are near Solon that could benefit from the water. So that's kind of where I'm at, is making sure that we're using it in the most efficient most efficient way that we can, and that if we're cleaning it, then for someone that they're paying for that to be cleaned.
Other than that, just ensuring that we charge them double the rate, but they don't pay local taxes, that this is still financially putting us ahead so that we can afford additional infrastructure for their down the line.
Yep. Andrew, me, question? All right, with that, we'll open up. Tony, do you have questions or comments?
I just wanted to say it's available if anyone would like to borrow it. We did have a study. I think it cost, I have the 2 bills and receipts from the engineering department 8 years ago. Cost just under $5,000. And we came up with an extensive report, and we had 10 different scenarios. And I want to say, options that at this point, I would appreciate if we could have an answer for the record as to the status of McBride Estates. I have that newspaper article, going back to 2018, which is indicating, it's front page story, Doug, the old economist, had a story. And it was indicated that the contract was between, McBride Estates and Gallery Acres and McBride Point. And that Solon, when you signed the contract, that this was a part of it. And that the state revolving fund, this is a question I'm unsure of. The state revolving fund, there are two stumps, STUBS. And as I understand it, this was decided 8 years ago, almost 9 years ago, that McBride Point and McBride Estates had a contract with Gallery Acres, whatever finance, I have to find out, I can't find out through you, but I can go through the state, finance, the loan program. I have legal right to it, and that information, will be, available to the public, but if this is a done deal.
Tony, I would say that nothing is a done deal. We have not agreed to anything, and this is strictly McBride Point.
Correct. But there
As
is.
somebody, Tony,
Is that not
let
correct?
me finish, please.
Is there-
McBride Point, no. McBride Point has submitted an application, which is what we're discussing. McBride Estates has not submitted anything, to my knowledge, I don't.
Do not-
That this is,
And Gallery Acres, the agreement with Gallery Acres says that no connections can be approved without the city's express approval.
Correct, exactly. You have the option based on the status of our water supply.
yep, so stating that this is a done deal with a development that hasn't even submitted an application. Tony, you need to stop interrupting me.
I'm sorry. this only says I have-
McBride Estates has not submitted an
I'm
application.
aware of that, correct.
Without an application and without agreement of the city, nobody else can be hooking up to this water line.
Correct.
McBride Point has submitted an application, which is what all this discussion has been about.
Correct. Now may I clarify? The point is, this already, one-page story. The point is that there are stumps out there on GAWs, and correct me if I'm wrong, which allow them to hook up at the option of the city down the road. But this is, I understand it, state revolving fund money and a contract with GAW. So you can't tell me that 8 years ago, they didn't have some idea before they spent this money and committed. Remember, they are now entering violations with their discharge. McBride Estates have had problems all along. So all of a sudden, someone's gonna back out of this, then what do these two developments do?
We don't have
And
a
if that's-
Yeah.
contract. The contract between them has nothing to do with the city of Solon. They can't enforce their contract on us.
And, correct, but they would have had someone had to, you city.
And they can file a suit.
And if you tell them now, after 8 years of waiting to be ready, remember that Bride Point.
Do you have any of these contracts? Do you have any of these legal contracts? No, besides your piece of newspaper from 8 years ago, do you have any legal contracts for what you're saying?
Back to you point.
There are none.
We're not a party to the contract that you're talking about, so we wouldn't have anything.
So don't you think it would be appropriate? Don't you think it would be appropriate that this council notify those homeowners out there and Mr. Skolkman and the McBride Estate developer, if there's still one present, not just a homeowners association, that their 8-year plan and the DNR, that their 8-year plan and agreement, that federal monies, I'm gonna qualify that. I get a call tomorrow. The monies that were negotiated were paid for stumps with the impression that those two developments would at some point, when you had the water and agreed to it, but this was the future of their water supply. And for the people, I'm getting calls from homeowners.
Who?
And the question is, what are they gonna do if suddenly after 8 years of waiting to hook up, sorry, not gonna happen?
Not our
I mean,
problem.
that's not our
Are
problem.
they
not a-
aware of-
This is,
were they
It doesn't
aware of that?
matter. We don't have anything to do with any contract there. They can't enforce any contract against us.
But surely you were aware of their arrangement, because you had to at some point say, you knew nothing of it?
Is it in our
And you
contract?
said no, or?
Then it's not legally binding.
You're only gonna decide at the last minute
there is an agreement with Gallery Acres West.
that they may hook up with your approval,
That-
correct?
So all these other contracts that you're speaking of
They're
have
just-
not come to the city.
At McBride Estate.
Let him finish.
Yes, you need to stop interrupting, Tony.
I apologize. Please, I'm the only person.
Then if you're not gonna stop talking, then we're just gonna tell you can't talk anymore. Cause he's trying to say like, yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Please go ahead.
Nothing has come across. What the discussion tonight is on the Gallery Acres West line and the application that McBride Point has submitted. This is Q and A that we've had. Anything McBride states is irrelevant. This is about the Q and A that was put together for McBride Point.
Correct. So if you're saying that there's no obligation, don't you think that the homeowners out there, the people that have bought homes out there, would have liked to have understood that? And if you're saying that's not your problem, then perhaps we have an obligation for a headline, heads up out there, because this is a whole different scenario. And I don't know to say, perhaps the engineer can say.
Well, here's the
If there
thing,
was
we're
such-
not gonna tell people who are trying to sell a house that there might be water problems, that'll get us sued. I mean,
But didn't they have a right to know before they bought the house?
That's why we-
that's between the buyer and the seller.
Certainly,
Yeah,
Mr. Spokman-
The
Mr.
city is,
Spokman would have a
the
responsibility.
city is not going to be getting involved in others' business when it does not involve the city.
I'm just saying, you are part of the contract.
No, we're not.
We are not part of
We
the
are not.
contract. You
With
gotta
Gal-
stop.
With Gallery Acres.
Yes,
And
I
you did not
understand.
know that they had signed up 2 stumps? Well, that's, if I'm assuming a hookup pipe, correct? There's some way to hook up. For both of those developments, you didn't know that when you signed with Gallery Acres, that they had already gone ahead and had not just verbally said, okay, down the road, we can hook up whoever we want if the city agrees, but had actually negotiated a contract with these 2 developments to
Any,
provide
That's not
water?
good, we know.
And they're just on the.
There-
they're out of luck.
any hypothetical or potential contract with other parties that does not involve the city is not the city's business.
So you weren't
It's not-
aware of it?
It's not, we're not going to be trying to engage in the business of others.
So the city was not aware that they had
You don't even have the contracts.
You
Real
bring
contracts.
bring those contracts in. That's what I'm saying, don't bring people, don't bring a newspaper from 2018. Bring those contracts in where it says the city said that they would do this.
I didn't ever say that.
No, I'm saying it to you, you don't have to say it to me, because this is you're talking roundabout, you said the same different thing 8 different ways. And you're not getting anywhere, because we're not under contract, there's no loss, there's no predication that we were gonna do anything, that we were required to do anything by law, that we signed any contract. You don't have any of these contracts, you're just saying ifs, ands, or buts
No, I'm not.
about all these different places that are stubbed out.
2 places.
Okay, two places, okay, you got me, 2 places. Ifs, ands, not buts. So there's 2 places that you're saying that they're stubs, that we have no contractual obligation to hook onto, correct?
And you didn't know.
No, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no,
I'm not.
yes or no, yes or no, yes or no.
No, please don't.
Yes or
talk to
no?
me that way. I
Well,
don't
then
know
please
what-
don't talk to me that way, because you're just saying, you're wasting everybody here's time
I just.
by saying the same thing 6 different ways, when our city attorney has told you there's no reason for it, okay? And then you keep interrupting the mayor, and you're just wasting all these people's time. So if you come in with the contract rather than a cutout piece of newspaper, it's still a piece of newspaper. Am I wrong? Are you gonna show me another piece of newspaper?
This is
I don't
not
wanna see it.
May I speak?
No, you may not, because you're not saying anything different than you've already said, and what our council, our attorney has told you, there's not a contract there, and you keep saying there's a contract
I'm
there.
not saying.
There is
the
not a
was
contract.
stolen And the McBride Point. are
What,
saying
then what does that have to do with the city soul?
That the city of Solon signed a contract with.
With who?
McBride Point.
Okay, no, we did not, we did not,
Gallery.
absolutely, we
I'm
did not.
sorry, Gallery Acres West. McBride Point.
That's not our problem, who they signed a contract with, because they signed the contract they signed, the contract they signed said they can't put anybody else on here without our approval. Am I wrong?
That is exactly what it says.
Okay, so wait, stop, because you're saying that because they signed a contract that we're obligated to it. That's not how this works.
Please don't put words in my mouth.
That's exactly what you said 4 times.
I've never said that. I've
So what
never
are you
said that.
getting at?
I'm saying.
Say it very clearly, give us one question and tell us what you're trying to say, because you're saying 5 different things in 5 different ways.
I'm asking this council. What is the implication of McBride Point and McBride Estate from the get-go, when the city signed the contract with GAW? If you didn't know, I washed my hands.
Okay, so what's your question?
The 2 stumps were attached for these 2 developments. And at what point if you didn't know, you should have known.
That's
And
not a
at what
question.
point- I'm
What's your
trying-
question?
This isn't an interrogation. I'm representing.
You're
people.
interrogating us though, that's
Yeah,
the
you,
problem.
well, you just keep saying the same thing over, and tell us what the question is. What is your question?
My question is what the status of these two developments that have been waiting for 8 years, have had a contract with JW, which you have with JW, that they are a water, what do you call it, a business agency, who do these things with your approval. And now somebody's here wanting to do it, and we've not heard a word about McBride Estates. I found that out by accident. I think the public needs to know, that's a total of around 70 homes.
Okay, so that's still not a question.
John, I'll take it. This has nothing to do with McBride Estates.
This is
McBride
the time
Point,
to ask
Tony,
questions.
Tony, I don't know how many times you've interrupted me, and I'm tired of it. I'm trying to answer your question. McBride Estates has nothing to do with any of this. McBride Point has submitted an application which is under review, and which is why this FAQ has been put together. Any agreement between McBride Estates, McBride Point, and GAW is not any agreement that we have signed. We have an agreement with Gallery Acres West, which is if anybody else were to hook up to the line that they put in, it must come with city approval. That is what we have.
And I recognize that, I acknowledge that. What I'm saying, I'm asking you. This has not been talked about, this is in the future. This goes to the decision the councils are going to make soon as to hooking up McBride Estates, McBride Point. And if that's the case, then we need to talk about the impact of not just 40 homes, but about 70. And I asked
So
you.
the 70 homes, there are not 70 homes
Potential.
in McBride Point.
26.
We can talk potential and hypotheticals all day long. McBride Point is what, 26?
26 units.
26 units. 26 homes in
But add on
McBride
Gallery
Point.
Acres.
I don't have those numbers in front of me.
14, you're right, but 40 total.
It's a total of 40.
14's already been hooked on, so we're looking at 26 additional.
Correct, and this, please, I'm gonna quote our engineer, our city attorney, and our mayor.
Tony, you need to wrap this up. We've given this enough time.
I'll be quickly, I'm gonna hear it. So this was the 31st of July, the newspaper, when you were talking about the church. And our engineer talked about 40 lots, half-acre lots that would be between the church and the city that would be too expensive to develop if they didn't adhere to the infrastructure requirements.
I'm gonna stop.
Therefore, you said.
Tony, with that, this is on property not within city limits, and this is all hypothetical.
Let me just, may I please?
No,
read-
you continue to interrupt us, and you're going down a path that has nothing to
May I
do with
read
the,
quote
no,
from our engineer?
no, you may not.
Wow.
You
May I read
continue
this
to,
quote? May I read the quote, Mayor?
no, you continue to interrupt me. You continue to go down a path that is not the agenda item. The agenda item is McBride Point. You're talking McBride Estates. You're talking about, you're quoting Dave from a comment that he made on a completely different
But it's
subject.
relevant, it's relevant.
No, it is not.
It's about tax money and his responsibility.
That has nothing to do.
I'd like to make a motion to move on to the next item.
May I read the mayor's?
No,
No,
you're out of order now.
We can ask you to have, be removed, or we can call the sheriff and ask you to be removed. Yeah, wow,
I'm
because
just
you're being
speaking.
unruly.
I'm-
You know, you're not. Either have a seat and be part of the discussion. I asked you, how many times did I ask you? All you have to ask is one question and you just talk in circles. You would not ask a question. So now I'm gonna either ask you to sit down or I'm gonna ask the sheriff's department to be called and have you removed from the property. Because you're being unruly and not letting us have a discussion about this. I asked you directly to ask a question and you would not ask a question. So you can either have a seat, you can ask one question, or we can call the sheriff's department and have you removed. That's where I'm at with this, because you're just gonna talk in circles.
You are our elected officials.
You are correct.
I'm speaking to you.
And you're not asking anything, you're just talking in circles and wasting everyone in here's time.
I'm
Do you think our time's not valuable?
Yes, I do. I respect.
Because I don't believe you that you believe that, because you just keep saying the same thing over and over and over, but you're not asking any questions. this Q&A was partly put together because of the questions you asked and it answers all the questions that you asked.
Correct.
And then you come up with other stuff and bring in articles from over 10 years ago. How does that make any sense?
8 years.
Okay, 8 years. Oh, great. Then 7 years, 6 months and 22 days. What's the difference?
May I end this on the mayor, quoting the mayor?
No, you may not.
Dan, you can just,
Okay. That will take us down to other business, so council committees, streets, the street projects, meeting. Can you schedule?
Yeah, we're kind of tentatively looking at the next, before or after the next council meeting. I'll work with John and Andrew on that. Trying to wrap up some projects yet this year. We got some good weather. No word on from Klusner yet on our Iowa Street section, so we're still waiting for that. Also, we just keep rolling down the list. Okay. Finance committee, still working on the TIP application. I need to work with the mayor on, somebody kind of stand in for Steve temporarily. And then, as Dave shared, the downtown expansion surveys going on, and then they're gonna shift gears and they're gonna be doing some survey over at the new city hall site because we need to have some repairs done to the parking lot. Also, and working on, kind of picking up where Scott left things off with those estimates, so we can get there. I want to thank you, Andrew, for his latest review on the geo, for that building. Let's see, SRNA agreement. I think we're just at a point we need to get our group together one more time, and so we can kind of wrap that up with the school. We have had some discussions on, a future recreation center where one might be, and we're still just in those early discussion phase there. And then the French area agreement, I did hear back from Aaron Shane at the board supervisor's office, and they have not yet identified who their other committee member is, and she'll reach out as soon as they know.
Okay. Thanks, Cam. Item 21, quick report, Susie, anything? City administrator comments, Cam, any?
Yeah, I do. First I wanted to, and I meant to do this at the last meeting and I forgot, but I wanted to make sure I took a moment to acknowledge Nancy Outmeyer, who is our Main Street music coordinator, who put on an awesome lineup this summer. She's still working on some late fall and possibly holiday events, but wanted to just say thank you. She's done this for over 20 years, does it all volunteer and does a fabulous job. No planning and zoning meeting this month. Nothing has been submitted for review. Also wanted to just put out a shout out to the Business View magazine article on Solon. So it's on the website and on Facebook. So that was nice to get some national attention for our small town. Tomorrow I'm going to represent Solon at Kirkwood Hotel Corridor, or CBJ is putting on a smaller community economic forum. That's at Kirkwood Hotel tomorrow. They have several of the city administrators and economic development folks in the area to talk about small economic development in the smaller communities. Wanted to remind everybody that garbage is on Saturday because of the Labor Day holiday. And finally, the Global War on Terror wall will be arriving on September 18th. Main Street will be closed from 9 to 5. Our public works staff met with Legion staff and we have a good plan to how we can support them. Also wanted to remind everybody that there will be the Rock that Saturday morning event, and that's the hike around town. And then there's a ceremony at noon with Commander McClintock from the Iowa National Guard. And I believe the Black Hawk helicopter will be landing sometime that morning at the ball field, Legion ball field. So, but with this for the noon ceremony. So exciting stuff coming up. That's all I got.
Thanks. Any council comments? I do not have any comments as well. Takes item 25, motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye. Any opposed?